It's the Anfield Wrap's daily video. We're at SoccerEx today, which is a big posh conference where loads of people from footy get together and talk about it and talk about their business and what they can all do for each other. And somehow we're here. We're having a pint.
I'd like to thank the people of Bottoms over who were supplying lager.
So we haven't got a written down agenda and all that. We haven't brought the office with us, so I'm on Sean's phone here to see what's happened today. But before we look at the Echo's live blog, cheers the Echo. First off, the under-23s yesterday, thought it'd be quite nice to talk about that. First of all, thought both Trent Alexander Arnold and obviously Danny Ings both did really well. Ings got a couple of goals. Trent Alexander scored a brilliant goal as well. Interesting that his boss today has said along the lines of he's done that now sort of 2 or 3 games. What he wants from him now is sort of 10 in a row of performing at that level.
Yeah, I actually went to interview Michael Beale on Friday and put a little bit up on our website. On Friday, I'm going to be writing more up of it on Tuesday because they play Wolfsburg on Wednesday, which is a big European game for them, in a new tournament that they're playing in. And so he was dead interested, Michael Beale. I asked him about the challenges of putting an under-23 team together, and he was saying that it's right, it is, because you've got people at very different stages and wanting different things from it. So Trent is actually could play for the under-18s. He's still school age, if you like, but they've pushed him forward to the under-23s because they've obviously got high hopes of him, and he's sort of reserved right back at the moment, isn't he? If something were to happen to Klein, so he's there. So he's in a very different position to someone like Danny Ings, who's an international footballer. He's been in England squads, and so he's there just trying to prove himself and just trying to prove that he's there for the first team, whereas for Trent, he hasn't played that many under-23 games yet. So I think what Michael Beale's saying is, Michael Beale thinks he's a brilliant player, by the way. He'll wax lyrical about him, but for Trent to prove that he's ready for the first team or knocking on the door for the first team, I think he's putting out that it's great having these standout games, but put a dozen shows in it and just show you've got that consistency, because that's it for young players. You can have talent, but a lot of the time it's down to consistency. So I think that's what Michael Beale's trying to get from him, which is fair enough.
I think what was interesting was he was up against George Honeyman of Sunderland yesterday. He was playing for the first team, and the boss thought that might be a little bit of a tougher test for him. Turns out it wasn't. He had a great game, probably the best player on the pitch. Going back to the first team game on Saturday, obviously we won 5-1. Everyone's flying, everyone's happy about that. Praise for Milner flying round, rightly so. But also some interesting quotes overnight come out from Curtis Davis.
Yeah.
Basically just saying what a nightmare it is trying to defend against Liverpool. And I think this is what we've been talking about in quite a lot of things we've been doing about, everyone's joining in all over the pitch. I think Neil actually said on City Talk on Friday, he was saying, the way Liverpool are playing, you wouldn't be surprised if Milner popped up with a goal. I don't think he necessarily meant from the penalty spot, but it was like what Curtis Davis said was that, apart from the centre halves and Jordan Henderson, it seems like everyone's got licence to attack, everyone's got licence to join in, and you just don't know where you are as a centre half. You don't know who to pick up, you don't know who to leave, and Liverpool are becoming a bit of a nightmare for opposition teams, which is great.
No, it's brilliant, and it reminds me of what Klopp said when he was asked about players' positions, and it was specifically related to Sturridge playing on the right, and he was sort of saying, well, it doesn't really matter, they're all attacking, and they're all attacking in different areas, and they swap. And I think we've seen that from the team, and we're seeing it more and more every week. And you want Liverpool to be a nightmare to play against. That's what you want and you want people coming to Anfield worrying about it, and teams go, you don't get a minute's rest there, and almost getting to the situation where the likes of Hull are just writing it off and going, well, we need 40 points this season, forget about
We're not getting them there.
Yeah, forget about that. And if you can get teams coming to Anfield with that mindset, then it's sort of like a goal head start, isn't it?
Well, there's Gillen Balaguer there. We're just being in a talk with Gillen.
We'll try and grab him.
Get him to say Liverpool are going to win the league or something. Something that'll go mad on social media, because that's what we were just listening to them all talk about. There was someone in from La Liga, wasn't there? Someone in from the UFC as well, and they were just talking about how to get people engaged on social media, which is what we're having a go at here as well. What else has been happening? Oh, Klopp. Everyone's talking about Klopp. He's going to be on Monday Night Football tonight, which I'm sure you've all seen by now. different views on this, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I think. Look, I'm going to tune in. So first of all, I'm going to tune in because I love watching Jürgen talk. I'd listen to him read the phone book out. You know what I mean? He's just an engaging guy and so passionate. And I know there's some people. It's probably older fans who are maybe a bit more traditional, going, well, would you have seen Kenny Dalglish doing that or whatever, or you know, even someone like Rafa necessarily, you know, are they going on telly and talking, you know, is that what managers of top clubs really do? It's a bit Phil Brown, isn't it? I suppose that's what you kind of see more, and so I think it's just.
And Brendan got slaughtered for this type of thing at times.
Yeah.
You know, too matey with the press and all this sort of thing. I mean, it's interesting that Klopp's done a lot of media lately.
Yeah,
I mean,
loads,
you know, Sky Sports is just the latest. He obviously even had to sit down with ourselves, but you know, he's also done a big interview with the Daily Mail, with 442. There's one or two others as well, which slipped my mind now. But he's been about.
Bits in Germany and stuff like that.
He did the thing with Gary Lineker, didn't he, as well, on the new BBC football show. So he's been doing a bit, and I wonder whether it's almost. I'd love to know what the strategy behind it is, because there will be one. There's no way there isn't one. There always is.
There possibly is, and I think for some fans, as I say, for some, they'd rather he would have it first. Yeah. And there's always the worry that, I mean, football fans are a bit superstitious, as well. So there's always the worry that if you say too much, then, you know, when you're doing well, then suddenly, you know, there was a thing with Brendan Rodgers, wasn't it? You know, it was before the Man United home game where Gerrard gets sent off, and he was telling everyone how he turned it round and how brilliant he was, basically, and then we got beaten. So I think there's a worry amongst some Liverpool fans, but some football fans in general, that don't speak too soon when it's going well, and I don't think that's necessarily what Jürgen's going to be doing. I'm sure he's going to be very much keeping feet on the ground.
From us today, the usual free podcast that'll be out around 4 o'clock today, I think. We're also recording a back page today, which is a subscriber show where we talk about the media. We haven't done one of those for a while, so quite a lot to get through, including just sort of how people's feelings are manipulated almost by the media. I mean, you know, I've managed to pull out an article which might have gone under your radar a little bit, but it was mad. It was basically saying, after we beat Burnley, you know, when will people start getting on Klopp's back? When will people start saying, you know, he's not doing a good job and all this sort of thing? And I was like, hang on, it's August the 25th, mate. So, you know, we'll be looking at that, looking back as well at what Daniel Sturridge had to say about how he's been treated by the media over the years, and about how he's, you know, seen as this injury-prone player when perhaps there's, you know, players who are worse, equal or if not worse out there. So we'll be getting into all that. What else is out today? Anything else out today, John?
I'm not sure, but
we're not in the office. We're not in the office, as we said. We're here in Manchester in what's this venue called these days? GMAX, it used to be.
It used to be the GMAX. Now it's just a convention centre.
Convention centre or something. It's a big, nice old railway station. Shame it's in Manchester, but you know, you can't have everything. That'll do as well, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Cheers. Up the Reds.